Reggio Calabria is not just a place to see, it is a place to feel, a city where history and humanity meet, where every street has a story and every sunset leaves you longing to return. For those who make the journey here, Reggio does more than welcome you, it stays with you long after you've even gone. At the very tips of Italy's boot, where the land narrows into a final curve before reaching out towards Sicily, lies a city that many travelers have yet to discover. A city with ancient roots, a vibrant present, and a soul shaped by both sea and mountains. This is Reggio Calabria, a gateway to southern Italy and a destination that reveals itself slowly, like a long story being told one page at a time. Reggio Calabria is the largest city in Calabria, with around 170,000 residents, and yet it feels intimate. Here, the pace of life is different from Italy's big northern cities. People still pause to greet each other. Others on the street still gathers in the evening for the passeggiata, still lives by rhymes that remains unchanged for generations. This is not the Italy of crowded piazzas and long lines that landmarks. This is an Italy where authenticity still shines. Arriving in Reggio Calabria feels like stepping into another world. The train hugs the coastline, offering views of Tokyo's seas and beaches scattered with fishing boats. As you enter the city, the air shifts. There is a mist of sea breeze and citrus. The faint smell of espresso drifting from nearby cafes and the chatters of locals speaking a dialect that carries echoes of Greek, Arabic, and old Italian tongues. For those arriving by air, Reggio Tito Miniti Airport sits only 5 kilometers from the city center, small, efficient, and bathed in sunlight. It feels more like a gateway than a hub. From here is only minutes before you are standing on the seafront, looking across the strait towards Sicily. The geography is dramatic. Behind the city rise the slopes of Aspromonte, rugged, green, and often dusted with snow in winter. In front, the endless blue of the Strait, where the Tyrrhenian and Ionian Sea meet. This landscape is not just a backdrop, it is the reason Reggio Calabria exists. The reasons people settled here over 2,700 years ago, and the reason it still captivates travelers today. First impression of the city. Reggio Calabria is a city of first impression. The first thing you notice is its light. Bright, sharp, and clear. The southern sun illuminates every detail. The pastel-colored building, the green of palm fronds, the white facades of churches. The second thing is its sound, the low hum of conversation, the cries of vendors in the market, the clink of cups in cafes, and always, somewhere in the background, the sound of waves against the shores. And then there is the rhyme. Unlike the rush of Milan or Rome, here time stretches, people walk slowly, shop close during the hot afternoon hours. Life follows the sun, and in the evening the city comes alive as family and friends gather for their nightly stroll. This rhyme is not just a way of life, it is Reggio's heartbeat. If Reggio Calabria has a soul, you will find it here, along the Lungomare Falcomatà, known as the most beautiful kilometer in Italy. This promenade stretches along the water's edge, offering spectacular views of Sicily and Mount Etna in distance. Palm trees line the path, casting shadows on the marble pavement. Statues, monuments, and gardens add a sense of grandeur, and always the sea, a constant companion, glittering by day and shimmering under street lamps by night. The Lungomare is more than just a walkway. It is the stage on which the daily life of Reggio plays out. In the morning, joggers trace its length, while fishermen cast their lines into the strait. By afternoon, locals rest on benches, watching ferries cross to Sicily, and in the evenings, the Lungomare becomes a theater of light and movement as the entire city seems to gather here for the passeggiata. To walk the Lungomare is to experience Reggio Calabria at its most authentic. You will walk past the Arena dello Stretto, a modern amphitheater looking the sea, where concert and festival become music to warm summer nights. You will see monuments dedicated to Italy unification, grand villas with wrought iron balconies, and gardens filled with tropical plants. Here in the early 20th century, every step along this kilometer tells a story of resilience, beauty, and identity. Everyday life along the seafront. Yet, what makes the Lungomare unforgettable is not just its view or monument, it is the life that unfolds here. Every single day, elderly men gather to discuss politics. Couples hold hands as they walk slowly towards the sunset. Street vendors sell roasted nuts, and gelatarians serve scoop of pistachio and bergamot. Tourists are few, and so you will feel less like a visitor and more like a guest, invited into the realm of local lives. Nearby, the small harbor still hosts fishing boats. Here, life is as it has been for centuries. Nets are mended, catches are sorted, and the city connection to the sea remains strong. Swordfish, tuna, anchovies, all pulled from this water, all destined for markets and family tables within hours. As you explore the city, you quickly realize that Reggio is not just about the present moment. Its streets are layered with history. Founded in the 80th century BCE by Greek settlers, it was once part of the Magna Graecia, the great Greek civilization that spread across southern Italy. Later came the Romans. Reggio history is also marked by tragedy. The earthquake of 1908, one of the deadliest in European history, devastated the city in its aftermath. Reggio was built with wide streets and modern architecture, blending resilience with renewal. Walk it Boulevard today, and you see Liberty-style facade, grand piazzas, and monuments that speak to both loss and rebirth. At the center of this modern rebirth lies Piazza Italia. The square is Reggio Civic Heart, surrounded by government buildings, cafes, and shaded benches by day. It is a place of business and bureaucracy. By evening, it becomes a meeting point where friends gather, children play, and conversations stretch late. From here, all the city major streets seem to radiate outward, connecting Reggio's past with its present. No journey through Reggio Calabria is complete without tasting its flavor. The food here is bold, simple, and unforgettable. It speaks of sea and mountains, of tradition and survival, of a culture that has always made the most of what the land provides. Start with swordfish. Swordfish cooked with tomatoes, olives, and capers is a Reggio classic reflecting the city's deep connection to the sea. Fresh, flavorful, and rich in history. It's a dish you find in every local trattoria. From the mountains comes Induja Calabria Fiere, spreadable salami, spicy, smoky, and additive. It is one of the region's most famous exports. Spread on bread, stirred into a pasta, or even added to pizza. It delivers a taste of Calabria bold character. And then there is gelato. Reggio Calabria is known for its creative and delicious gelaterias. Pistachio, hazelnut, and chocolate as staples. But here you find something special. Bergamot gelato. Bergamot, a citrus fruit unique to this region, is the hidden treasure of Reggio. Its aroma is sharp, floral, and unforgettable. And in gelato form, it becomes a cooling, tangy, and exotic flavor you won't taste anywhere else in the world. The market of Reggio. To feed the pulse of Reggio daily life, step into one of its markets. Here, stores overflows with tomatoes ripening in Calabrian sun, olive cured in family recipes, cheese aged in mountains, caves, and fresh fish pulled from the Strait only hours earlier. The air is filled with voices bargaining, laughter, greeting exchange between neighbors. This is where Reggio reveals its most honesty. Through its flavor, its smells, and its people. In this market, food is not just sustenance, it is heritage, it is identity. Every purchase carries with it a story, and every meal connects you to the generation who came before. Evening life in Reggio Calabria. As the sun dips behind the mountains, Reggio Calabria transforms the heat, softening the street feels, and the city takes on a new energy. Families and friends strolls along Corso Garibaldi and the Lungomare, greeting one another, laughing and enjoying the cool breeze from the sea. This evening walk, the Passeggiata, is not just tradition, it is the city ritual of connection, a daily celebration of community. It is in these hours between sunset and nightfall that you feel closest to Reggio's spirit, the blend of history, tradition, and simple human joy, a reminder that travel is not only about monument or landscape, but about moment, small, fleeting, yet unforgettable. In Reggio Calabria, the past and present live side by side. Ancient statues stand in museums. Medieval castles overlook modern streets, and families gathered as they have for centuries to share food, laughter, and life. This is not a city you simply visit. It is a city you feel. To understand Reggio Calabria is to look beyond its monument and food, beyond its museum and seaside promenade. It is to listen to the heartbeat of its people, to feel the rhyme of their tradition, and to step into the daily rituals that make this city more than just a destination. Reggio is not only a place on a map, it is a way of life. The lifestyle of Reggio Calabria. The lifestyle of Reggio Calabria. Morning in Reggio begins slowly. Shops open one by one. The aroma of fresh espresso fills the air and neighbors greet each other warmly. Life here is unhurried, rooted in relationship and community. To an outsider, the pace may feel different, calmer, more deliberate, but it is this very rhyme that gives Reggio its charm. The people of Reggio live closely with the sea. Summers are long, hot, and full of salt air. Families spend weekends at the beach, diving into the crystalline water of the Ionian and Tyrrhenian coast. Evening are for gathering with friends, walking the Lungomare, sharing a meal, or enjoying gelato under the stars. There is a balance here between tradition and modernity, between the demand of today and the joy of yesterday. Traditions and festivals in Reggio Calabria. Tradition runs deep in Reggio Calabria. Throughout the year, the city celebrates festivals that blend the religion, culture, and community. One of the most important is the Festa della Bodena della Consolazione, held every September. For centuries, the people of Reggio have carried the revered icon of the Madonna from her sanctuary on the hill down into the heart of the city. Streets filled with music, prayer, and devotion, a living tradition that unites generations. Beyond religious activity, Reggio also celebrates its cultural heritage. Concerts, art, shows, and food festivals bring people together, honoring both the ancient past and the creativity of today. In Reggio, tradition is not static, it evolves, weaving old and new into tapestry that is vibrant and alive. While Reggio itself is rich with experiences, its surrounding add even more depth to a visit. Just a short drive north lies Sicily, a fishing village steeped in myth. According to legend, Sicily was once home to the monsters Scylla. Practical travel tips for travelers. Reggio Calabria is both accessible and a little off the beaten path. The city has its own airport, Tito Miniti Airport, with flights connecting to Rome, Milan, and other Italian hubs. By train, Reggio is the last stop on Italy Southern Railway, linking it to Naples, Rome, and beyond. And of course, ferries cross the strait to Sicily in just minutes, making Reggio a perfect base for exploring both regions. Accommodation range from charming family runs B&Bs to modern hotels, many of them with views of the sea. Staying in the city center allows you to experience Reggio on foot, with seafront, Corso Garibaldi, and major sites all within easy reach. As for when to visit, spring and autumn are ideal. The weather is warm but not overwhelming. The streets lively but not overcrowded. Summer bring heat and energy with festivals and beach days, while winter offer a quieter, more intimate experience. Reggio Calabria is also one of Italy's more affordable destinations. Meals are generous and reasonably priced. Local transport is simple, and even with a modest budget, you can enjoy the best of what the city has to offer. In Reggio Calabria, the past is never far away. It lingers in the Riace Bronzes, in the stone of Castello Aragonese, in the myth whispers across the Strait of Messina. Reggio Calabria is not just a place to see, it is a place to feel, a city where history and humanity meet, where every street has a story and every sunset leaves you longing to return. For those who make the journey here, Reggio does more than welcome you, it stays with you long after you've gone. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to this channel and stay tuned for more travel tips all around the globe.